All right, y'all, let's get into Hitler, Trump, and Stalin, Biden, and the New World Order and the flips and twists, because the beginning is declared from the end. So we're actually living through those times when the dark sun and the white sun are creating that light for the new heaven and earth. And as that white devil that is coming, it blinds people. And the fish, they go to that light and the darkness when the world's dark. So the dark sun, they're not going to necessarily run to, because they don't understand. They're carnal people, and they're going to that visible light, not knowing that there's dark matter that creates the visible. Now, we're at the end of one time and going into another time in the media. Okay, that's the me for dawn. No one can do what the dawn does. So this is when he is coming in and he's taking control of what he has created, and he's wrapping it all up. And as he wraps it up, there's going to be upsets and happiness. And not everybody's happy with all their gifts. Sometimes it doesn't fit. Sometimes, okay, so and then you realize that at Christmas, well, that's when you get your wrap. Sure, you're sure to get a present, but then you find out that that Christmas is actually celebrating Satan. And that's when you find out that, hey, we actually followed Satan down into hell, and now we can't get out. Okay, because the second coming of the Lord is the second coming of Satan. And this is the dawn. The dawn is the Lord, and he's gathering the nation of Baal, the religious nations. He's bringing them to the war first. And then as he brings them to a war, he's gathering them to his land that he's going to be given. And the Texit, the succession of Texas that's being talked about, and these little different things, this will play a role into creating that little horn. And that little horn is going to be the horn of Satan. Okay? So we've seen Kennedy assassinated in modern times. We've seen Bush Sr. come in and talk about the New World Order and setting these things up. So the Republicans, they're actually the ones who are setting up this world order cabal, the so-called 1984 thing. We're going into kind of two segments here, a positive and a negative, and then a negative and a positive. So the government that we have today has a military complex, and they also have a budget for the military entertainment complex, and they're tied to Hollywood. And you can look up what movies are tied to and all these things, but your government is part of, it's giving brainwashing mechanisms, and it's preparing a mass for one thing or another, and it has its foot in these things. So you'll need to understand that your government is spending billions of dollars to produce movies to make money on you first, but also to propagate you and to give you a vision of what's coming to America, because they work in these rules where they have to at least tell you first, and that's where they start telling you that Hitler, Trump, and they either joke about it or do it this way, or Trump comes out and tells you himself, and then Biden's coming out and be like, did he really just say that? So this can be grounds for we have that Homeland Terrorist Act or whatever, where we can see Biden come in and take out that so-called Homeland terrorist, and this is where we see Trump's army rise to create that abomination in the holy place in another way. So it's being done in a twist, and this nation is living through the beginning declared from the end. So we're living through that time of when the Baal, that the people that worship the black letters, not the red letters of what Jesus said, but the black letters, they're worshiping these laws, and they're worshiping the division. They're worshiping masculine rule and shutting up the feminine spirit and all these little nuances. But this is all coming to an end. So as it's coming to an end, it's taking that nation that worships these things, that worships the slavery. Now, the Bible supports slavery. Capitalism is slavery. It's just they pay you for your slavery, but you're forced to work in our society. Otherwise, you got to live on the street and be a bum and eat whatever, or go to get the free food at the shelters. But so do your history. It even tells you that how can we figure out a way to make these slaves love their labor? Well, you give them a bunch of shit to buy, you give them money to buy it with, but you have them do your work and build up your empire and build up your kingdoms and all these other things. But in the meantime, you're just wasting your life, working your lives for somebody else, trying to buy all this knick-knack shit that doesn't really even matter, that doesn't bring you happiness or brings you temporary happiness or whatever, because happiness is found within. It's a choice we make. And it's a choice when we start thinking with our own mind. We don't think with the voices out there. We don't think with the voice of Susie in our head. We don't think the voice of our parents in our head, or the voice of the pastor in our head. We think of the voice of ourself. So what you're hearing, is it coming from them, or is it coming from you? Is it coming from you, or is it coming from the years of brainwashing? Do you believe in this, that, or the other because you were taught this, that, or the other starting age 5 or whatever, and you were questioning that then? Maybe you need to go back and question it now. The single eye. You meet God, and you meet the face of God in Peniel. The cabal, the Jewish, it's all there in front of you. So as so-called Hitler Trump is rising up, the blue and the red, these are both the Hitler Youth, the people in the schools that love schools, the people that love police. All these things are the Bell worship and the rise of the Hitler nation for that big whammy. Okay, so as we're being told this, that, and the other, Biden and Obama and whatever, the heirs group, they're this group that saw this corruption in the government and the CIA and going in and all these nations and raping and pillaging and bombing and taking out their governments, all this other shit, right? The things my brother told me that he was part of in Haiti in the 90s, taking out that going into that man's house and doing things to him and his family and making sure they left. And then we see the fruits of these things in Haiti now with the people, the cannibals. And then the cannibals is going to ring for the bells for the cannabis and stuff. But they're trying to come in and create like this Terminator nation, and then Obama and Biden, this group over here, sees these problems or whatever, so they're trying to set it up and the other one's trying to preserve it. And as they try to preserve it, that's when they go down, because they don't see the technology coming in. And then they have that mark of the beast, the 666, sitting in their head. So the pastors of the world, or the so-called fake truthers or whatever that are put out there, they say, oh, that's 666, that's mark of the beast, can't do that. 666, mark of the beast, can't do that. Oh, seared on the foreheads, can't do that. Digital ID, can't do that. Oh, whatever. So they're telling you this, RFID chip in the head, Elon Musk, blah, 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 that they can't do all. The beast can't do all things. Jesus said we can do all things. Okay? We, the sons of God, took the daughters of man. We see multiple creations, and we can see how these blend. Okay, so we got to realize that we're the sons of God and the sons of man, and we're blended, and we have this light inside of us that lives forever. So that's where we're the sons of God. And the sons of man, they're being gathered into their Eden, their so-called heaven. They're going back to the beginning, to where they worship a man, the trump, their begotten son, their dawn, their morning star that has risen for them. We are living through the second coming of the Lord. Adon means the Lord. It's the second coming of Satan. He was the orange, so you Satan at home at dinner. And then the den is near, and the by den, and so and so. So these people that are in now, it's set up to where one is preserving what America stands for, what made America great, but it's not through Trump. He's preserving the old, in the bad way, in the capitalism way, the slavery way, because he's playing two mountains. So there's a dragon over here, a dragon over here, a candlestick over here, a candlestick over here. And as they come together, as one goes down, as it gets melty and sticky and whatever else, you start dripping off into the darkness. And okay, so we have two flames going, we have two mountains going, we have a valley going for that bridegroom. And as we're in that valley, those low spots, and we're going up that high spot, the beasts are going to get wore out. They're going to get smacked on that ass. The ass is the donkey. The donkey's the one who has the keys to the pit, because he's a bad Don right now, and he's coming back with his wrath. And the ones, that's a whole nother thing. So Kennedy saw this, he warned us of this cabal, and then we see the Republicans, Bush, them bringing in this war, and the setting up this new type of system, the Patriot Act. The Patriot Act is going to lead to the Patriots Act, and then it's going to lead to their Terminator system. You want to go to the Jetsons, bro. You don't want to go to the Terminator side and the Wild West and all that. But the foreheads, they kind of break down as a red, blue, and purple, but where's that yellow at, right? So the 1, 2, and 3 kind of parties are probably going to be laid out in some way, and then we might need to go for the 4th, because it has that hour in it, and that hour is for the next day, and it's God is part of that us an hour of that first light where the light's divided, so that's where you'd want to go. Either way, well, that's a layer upon layer with Eden, because there's a Eden. That's a whole nother one. Either way, y'all, we're gonna wrap it up. But Hitler, Trump, he's gathering his army. left and right side, those flames of fire. Okay?